Hey everybody, I want to talk to you a little bit more about. I brought up faithfulness in this week's sermon, and I want to share a story with you because if you missed it, maybe this will prompt you to even go watch it. And if you did watch it or you were there with us, maybe this will help clarify some things. Here's a story: 1942, a couple, Clarence and Florence Jordan are their name. They formed what's called the Koinonia Farm. So go back in your mind to the 40s, and they start this farm. They're a Christian couple, and they actually started it with another couple. The goal of it was to create this farming community that loved Jesus, was all about worshiping Jesus. But think about the 40s and the 50s. Racism was super prevalent. Also, like gender stereotypes, like there wasn't a lot of equality. That's probably the best way to say it. There just wasn't much equality. So a part of their agenda in starting this farm was literally that anyone and everyone could participate on this farm. You could. It didn't matter who you were, where you came from, what you looked like, any of that. They welcomed you, would talk to you about Jesus, but then you were able to help grow stuff and live off that food and all that. It's really, really cool. Really cool system. Now the problem was, because they were so inclusive in the sense of like men and women were equal, black, white, whoever you were all equal, that upset people who were obviously against that. So here's the incident I want to bring up. In 1954, the Ku Klux Klan invaded their farm in the evening, burnt down every single building on the farm except their home. The Jordan's home. Didn't burn down the home. I mean, I can't imagine how devastating that would be. I can't actually imagine even that experience. But Clarence describes, because he was there, like watching them, trying to get them to stop doing it. And he overheard one of the people in their hood, like you didn't know who they were, but he overheard one of them and recognized the voice of one of them, who happened to be a local reporter. Now, Clarence didn't say anything. He just recognized him. So the next day, Clarence wakes up to a smoldering plot of land. And what he does, I think, is cool. He goes out and starts working the land and starts replanting all the stuff that got burned. But the next day, while he's out there working the field, guess who shows up? A reporter. That reporter. I can tell you the intentions because the reporter came. Here's quote, I'm quoting. The reporter came and found Clarence. I heard the awful news of the tragedy last night, and I came out to do a story on the closing of your farm. Lots of assumptions in that statement. Clarence didn't answer him. Actually, literally just kept working the ground. Just wasn't even, he knew exactly what this guy had done the night previously. Finally, because the reporter can't get any words out of him, here's what the reporter says. You've got 2 PhDs. You've put 14 years into this farm. And now there's nothing left. Just how successful do you think you've been? Oh, some of us would be like, let me tell you with my fist. No. Clarence dropped down the tool he was using, looks at the reporter, says this: you just don't get it, do you? You don't understand us Christians. What we are about is not success. It's faithfulness. I got to tell you, this is a real story. This is not a fable. This is a real story. He looks at the reporter and says, you have no idea what we're actually about. I'm out here replanting because faithfulness is powerful. And actually, if you don't know this, the farm still exists. You can find it. Just Google Koinonia Farm. You'll find it. I fear that many of us are only committed to a point, whatever your point is. Like, I'm committed as long as. And I think as Christians, if you call yourself a Christian, we've got to look beyond as long as and think more no matter what. If you want to know what faithfulness looks like, it's often this no matter what. Marriages are not, I love you and commit to you. There is no vow that I've ever been a part of any ceremony that says, I will commit to you as long as. I've never heard vows that say that. It's basically the vows indicate no matter what. Parents, it's no matter what. and we value that. Christians, we should get on that too. And so here's my challenge for you. If what you want restored is actually something you want restored, I think it's time to bring faithfulness to it. No matter what has Jesus called us to? I think being people who cancel less, who run less, and are more, no matter what, I will show up tomorrow. That is a good way to look at faithfulness.